Bernie's one of those dudes. He's going to fight to the end. Bernie is going to be in another 20 years or however 130. He's going to be on his bed with all his great grandchildren, and he's going to still be saying F around and find out, right? Because that's just Bernie all the way to the end. What's disappointing about this moment in terms of the organization of the left is that there's a lot of people on the left who are more interested in declaring that some of these leaders are not our leaders, right? Or they're not progressive enough. And here Bernie Sanders is to the end fighting on behalf of the people. I'm sorry, if that's not progressive enough for some people, then maybe they need to check their progressivism. They're like Nina Turner. Now she's not progressive enough for people. And I'm like, these are individuals who actually have laid everything on the line for these very specific fights, right? They don't get Bernie Sanders ran for president, but he's not a superstar in terms of like the glamour and the Bernie is out there doing the work, but it's just disappointing that sometimes the people who are working the hardest are oftentimes lambasted the most by people who claim to love them.
Well, yeah, it's you got to direct your energy at the right people. If you're not directing your energy right now at Biden and to pressure him and, I don't. That's what solidarity is, right? This is the whole point in solidarity. This is the conversation that I wanted to have with you is, how do we collectively enhance our solidarity and make sure that we're not becoming vehicles of the right wing? Because this is ultimately what happens is, when you're more busy, forget about calling up the Democrats. That needs to happen. They're in power. But when you're calling out the left for tone, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even know what they're calling it.
Who do you really want to have this?
Yes, please. I do.
I don't know if I'm trying to think. Do I really want to have this conversation?
Okay, sorry.
No. No,
we can talk about Dr.
Speaking
Seuss
to all of us.
Want.
We're talking
Dr.
about
Seuss.
all of us here because I think it's intentional. Look at the moment that we're in right now. Yeah. The moment when there should be, if not a unified left voice, a mildly unified left voice or a moderately unified left voice, but instead it's fractured into 1,000 different pieces, and to the point where you have people now who look at there are people on Twitter who are calling Nina Turner a conservative. Right. This is the kind of derangement that we're dealing with right now in terms of the divisiveness of the left. And I think that's on purpose. I think that there has been a tremendous power play to neutralize the left. And it worked. You know why? Because the left wasn't that strong to begin with. Right. And if you think about it, like it takes a concerted effort, a lot of energy and resources to consistently destroy the one conduit in this country that is consistently fighting on behalf of the people. And every generation, here we go, they're taking it down. First, they take out the leaders, right?
Yep.
They, what the left is going through now is nothing compared to the 60s when they just literally would kill them.
They actually killed them. Yes.
Right. And then it was just like a period of nothingness. When I, born in 1980, there was no, solidified, unified national left. You had to go and find it. You had to seek it out. And as soon as it started emerging again, what happened? Just fractured into 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, the hit pieces came out. They were smearing folks. Rumors go around. Folks left the Bernie campaign to go work for Biden, and there's a lot of this stuff. And then it's interesting because I've been thinking about this too, thinking, okay, well, why didn't this stuff happen during the rise of Bernie? And ultimately, I think some of this fracturing, as you said, is well funded. We were all good. They had no problem with us when we were challenging Biden or Hillary Clinton. Yeah. But the second Biden wins, he doesn't need the progressives to fall in line with him because whatever conservatives are out there who are trying to crack at Biden, they know that the way to do that is to make sure that the left is not unifying to make Joe Biden more progressive. And that's the thing that I think folks need to keep in mind. When we're fractured now, it prevents us from pressuring Biden in a way in which we might actually have there's a possibility, there's a path towards. Maybe.
And here, I want you to watch this other thing that happened, right? So in this process of fracturing, there's a portion of the so-called left at this juncture that is closer to aligning with the alt-right than ever before. Right. It was a concerted effort year after year after year. I think we saw it it was almost every spring. Every spring, someone would come out with a major push and enough impact and influence or resources to make it a national conversation as to whether or not the left should align with the right. All right. And now at the moment that we need a unified left to terrify the hell out of Joe Biden, now they're closer. Some of our leftist comrades are closer to aligning with the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just the timing is too perfect for it to be coincidental.
And their audiences have grown with a lot of conservative members. I mean, it's very concerning. We have to have our eyes open. I mean, it's one thing to be able to be in the Senate or in Congress and co-sign on a bill with a Republican over one issue. It's another thing to move your audience towards the far right, fascism. I mean, that's what it is. That is the rise of fascism. That is how fascism always rises. There aren't enough Proud Boys out there. They have to expand their audience and they need to bring it in. And the conservative movement has been facing an existential crisis for years, so much that they publish reports on it, and that they knew the country was getting more diverse, younger, more open-minded. Some of these culture issues that they used to fight for didn't work anymore. So they had to find new flavors. And now it's cancel culture and, they're censoring me. And it's like, it's just all sorts of neo-fascism that, but how much of that is because the Republican Party didn't have their act together? Like the institutional Republican Party, the Bush types.
The institutional Republicans, they really thought that they could control that Rush Limbaugh side of the party, because they did for so long until it was insufficient, right? Mm-hmm. The dog whistles were insufficient. And then the bullhorn almost became insufficient. And so now it became like live action role playing in terms of like storming the Capitol, and it's completely out of their control. So the institutional part of the Republican Party, they are all but out of power, except to the extent to which they can continuously align with Donald Trump. And this is why Mitch McConnell made it clear that he's willing to support Donald Trump in 2024 if he becomes the nominee. This is why Mitt Romney capitulated and just kind of acquiesced to the reality that Donald Trump could win again. It's because the institutional part of the Republican Party is on its way out, and the only thing that's going to be left is going to be this rabidly racist and fascistic arm that is worshiping literally with a golden calf Donald Trump.
Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.